Hey, Mortgage Coach community, Dave Savage here, and I am here with Jason Marschall with Prime Lending in Minneapolis. What's up, Jason?
How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing good. Thanks for making time to do this interview. I'm going to make it kind of a top producer interview because you're a top producer, and a mortgage coach interview to help mortgage coach loan officers just get more value with mortgage coach. So if you wouldn't mind telling everybody what a little bit about your market and a little bit about your production, and then we'll get into how you're using Mortgage Coach and how others can be helped.
Sure. Myself and I've got a partner up here, Steve Gables, at the office. He and I built this team about 3 or 4 years ago, primarily South Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul area. Production last year was around $60 million. We've got ourselves, we've got one individual that's another support LO, and then we've got another support staff group below that for processing and closing and etc.
So you're a team of 3, two, yep. Call it team leaders, 1 production assistant, yep. $60 million last year. How many families, how many borrowers did you help?
240 roughly.
Got it. So you guys are busy, you're doing well. How are you using Mortgage Coach right now in your sales process?
We use it on virtually every single file. Purchase files, it's going to be a tool that we use to compare different options. Refis, as those come up, it's a great net benefit tool, showing where people are at, where we can take them. One of the things that we use for refis is we go through an annual review with our clients, just to show them that we're staying on top of where they're at currently. If there's a benefit, if there's an opportunity to, improve their situation by shortening their term, by lowering their rate, lowering their expense, whatever their scenario is, we meet with them annually to see what their situation is, and if we can help that, Mortgage Coach is a great tool to illustrate it.
Well, that's a big deal. I hear all the time that Mortgage Coach is great at the front end, whether it's a purchase or a refi, to win the business, and it's even better for client for life. I think most loan officers forget that 10 to 20% of your clients do a loan every year, whether they're buying a new home or whether they're doing some circumstantial cause-based refi. They're doing a loan, and if you do an annual review and you do a Mortgage Coach, you're going to get a better past customer pull-through rate. So that's great to hear that you guys are doing that. Can you think of any families or any stories where they came to you, maybe they were working with another lender, it was a competitive situation, and you gave them the total cost analysis, and it gave them an aha. It was like, wow, it all clicks now, and you're my loan officer. Anything come to mind?
There's a couple of recent ones that, with today's market, as rates go up, people are shopping around more. So we're seeing more people look at other banks, look at other lenders out there to compare. There's still a lot of lenders that just give them one option. Here's my rate, here's my cost. This makes sense. So they're using that as a baseline. When they come to other lenders to compare, we look at that and we stretch it out into 4 different options. If it's simply 4 different rates, here's your break even between rate 1 and rate 2. If it's different down payment options, we stretch that Mortgage Coach out into a very good comparative, and it might come down to the original rate that they're looking at, but they know that there's a lot more advice that goes into how we put this together.
So the family feels that they got a better experience with more transparency, more education.
Absolutely.
Now when I do these Skype interviews, 1, I want people to get new ideas and takeaways. And 2, I want loan officers who, know they should be doing Mortgage Coach. They know it's better than what they do to jump in and take action. And I think just about every mortgage professional that's seen Mortgage Coach is like, wow, that's better than how I'm delivering rates and fees today. But yet they don't take action. And lots of times I hear them say, oh, it's too hard, or it takes too long, or it's not time compression. But, whenever I talk to a top producer like yourself, usually I use Mortgage Coach because it saves me time. Could you just speak to the time compression part of Mortgage Coach and how you think it helps you guys be more efficient, more effective?
Sure. Start to finish, it takes me 3 to 5 minutes to put a good Mortgage Coach presentation together. I use Mortgage Coach more on a simplistic view. I don't use the exact templates. We've got our own internal operating system for that. So I put a good estimate of costs, a good estimate of tax prorations, escrows, and that sort of thing together, and focus more on different rate cost combinations across the board. So I keep it as simple as I can, so I can tab through and we know what the costs are going to be as a good estimate. We know what the the different price of each rate is going to be. So I use that as a good starting tool. Once we get the client on board, knowing that we've got a plan together and that we're going to take good care of them, then it's going to get more detailed as we get down the road. So the mortgage coach is really for what direction are we going, so we know that we're both on the same page and we're looking at the right advice.
And so it from your perspective, it saves you time.
Absolutely. Comparing everything else, if we have to rebuild this within our Prime Path system, that would take much more time. So mortgage coach is a quick tab through. We can change it on the fly. So if a client says, I want to save a little more cash up front, how does that impact my net total cost, with a different rate option? We can tab through and we can change that on the fly.
So everyone watching this, one, we're talking to a mortgage professional that's done hundreds of total cost analysis. So if you've created less than 10, it does take more time because you're learning how to do it. It's uncomfortable. But I've interviewed the most successful loan officers in the country that have created thousands of total cost analysis. And once you get past 10, it just starts getting easier and it starts saving you time. And then, of course, once you've done something 100 times, you get better, it gets faster, and it truly becomes a productivity tool, not just a sales advantage. So let's talk about some of the features. What would you say your favorite feature of Mortgage Coach is, if there was one function or feature that you like best or you got most value from?
Just the comparison across the board. It's easy to input, but it's easier to illustrate. So the display that the clients see, the mobile access, they're going to be able to see this from anywhere. So the delivery is I guess my favorite. I started using the videos, the intro videos about a year ago, and I try to use those on every single one now. People think that is the coolest thing ever. I got over the hump of, what do I look like? Do I use a professional camera? What's the background? But they want to see, that you're in front of them, giving them a little bit of advice. It's more of a voicemail that I use the videos for. But and then if we change the total cost analysis, if we switch scenarios, I'll switch the video so they know it's it's current. It's relevant to what their situation is.
Yeah. When you add the video, you adding it from the mobile device, or you putting it from the computer? How are you capturing the video?
I use my phone. So I'll build the mortgage coach on my computer at my office, and then I'll pick up my phone, open the app, and record the video. The camera's a little bit better, and it's easy, it's quick. It takes 30 seconds to record a video. It uploads, and I send the link via my email from my computer.
Well, that is the best practice.
Yeah, the editing from my phone, I do use that on the fly. So if I'm on the road, I need to update some numbers or change the scenario, I can do that from my phone as well. So the response time with the app is very good.
So I just want to remind everybody what he said is, so you could go in, one, you can edit a mortgage coach. There's a little edit button there, and you can edit the total cost analysis. And then two, you can add a video, so literally from your phone, you could be doing a quick video, press two buttons, that goes into the total cost analysis. The best way to amplify your voice, because let's face it, you may be presenting to a husband, but you don't meet with the wife. When you use the mortgage coach, everybody's in the loop, your voice is amplified, including the realtor partner. By the way, are you using Mortgage Coach as a value with realtors, so that's like, hey, my sales process is better than all these other lenders. Let me show you. How are you integrating Mortgage Coach with your new agents and realtor partners to get more referrals?
More so on the new agents. The agents that we've worked with for a long time, they're to the point where they know that we're giving the good advice. We're putting the right products into place. New agents, if we're sitting at the closing table, I'll bring up the our mutual client, the buyer, and show them the mortgage coach and how we came to the decision that we did. Sometimes they'll ask why we picked the rate or the scenario or the product, and we can show them right there. So there's some good numbers behind our advice. At the end of the day, what we're still trying to do, what we do, that's our job, is we're advisors, and this tool really amplifies that advice. It makes it transparent. It makes it clear. It brings the buyers into the decisioning process, for whatever product that we're delivering.
Love that. And again, I passionately believe that the loan officer of tomorrow is an advisor and a coach to families, helping them make great advice, and does that leveraging technology, specifically mobile technology, really well. So you are just, to me, you are the future of lending. I always like to try to pull scripts out of this, because that's the other thing as well. Someone might learn how to do a total cost analysis. What you say to the family before you give them the total cost analysis can be super valuable. If you don't mind just doing, your 30-second to a minute scripting, if I was a borrower, you'd had your kind of hopes and dreams conversation, and now you're kind of positioning them that I'm going to send you this total cost analysis thing. How do you position it? What do you say to the borrower? What's that sound like?
We'll go through our initial needs analysis. We're trying to accomplish purchase. What is their down payment desire? What is the monthly payment desire? So we'll have a good idea of what this looks like. And then it starts to come down to rate and cost. So as we go through that conversation, I'll say, based on the homes that you're looking at, I'm going to build an analysis, to show you what different combinations of these options look like, and we put them side by side. So if it's the same purchase price with different down payment options, if we know that they're going to put a specific down payment into the transaction, I compare different rates side by side. That's one of the biggest wow factors that people still don't really realize, is they can pick any rate that they choose. Sometimes the total cost of all these rates side by side doesn't equate to a big difference. Sometimes it's a significant difference. So they can focus on, is my down payment more important today? Is the monthly payment or the total cost more important? So I preface what they're going to see as I email that link via my phone or my computer. I always let them know that if they want to use it on their phone, which they should, they're going to want to look at it more than once, to download this app. Save the download, it's from us. On their computer, they simply open the link and everything pops up for them.
I love that. My takeaway from what you just said, and I think a lot of people don't realize this, that transparency beats honesty. You can be the most honest person in the world, but if you're not transparent, are people really perceiving that? But just talking to you and hearing your process, it's clear that there's just a level of transparency and authenticity and the way you're using Mortgage Coach to really amplify your authenticity and your transparency, it's why you're killing it with Mortgage Coach. So let's close out on some workflow things. You're a team. Who creates the total cost analysis? So there's the borrower conversation. Who does call it the setup? Who does the presentation, and how do you divide that up as a team? Just give us a feel for that.
So Gabby and I are the two leads. Each of us will make several throughout the day. We've got a team LO, a loan officer support. He will make those for us as well. Gabby and I will deliver the presentation to our clients. So we all jump in where needed. So it's a true team group effort. Whoever has the initial lead, we'll build it.
Got it. So my takeaway is all of you are capable of building it, but you also have a production assistant that can do the data work, but you as the team lead are always presenting it to the family, which I do hear to be the case. I mean, I talk to some loan officers, and if you're listening to this, like when I interviewed Jeremy Forcier, he's done thousands, not 1,000, thousands of total costs. Now he's got a big team, but he just likes to do, he asks the questions, he builds it, he sends it, he does it all. But I do think the norm is there's a production assistant that is either there to augment the setup, or in some case, I talk to a lot of top producers where the production assistant does all the data input, and the loan officer presents. So the loan officer asks the questions, builds the rapport, production assistant creates, loan officer presents. Hey, Jason, you still there?
I am.
Okay. I lost your video for a second. Okay, so that's great. So let's wrap up. First of all, if you're watching this and you like this, like it below. Let us know you like it. You're watching it on YouTube. Give us a like. If you're a manager, share this. If you think this is great leadership and you want to share it to a mortgage friend to help them use Mortgage Coach better, share it. Like it, share it. And if you're on the prime lending team, have a sales meeting on this. The best loan officers in America use Mortgage Coach, and the ones that don't, they should be. And I promise you, because I've turned too many top producers into Mortgage Coaches, every one of them regrets that they didn't do it. Now get it. It takes them north of 10 total cost analysis until they're recrediting it, because the first 10 are hard. And the first 1 to 3 are really hard. It doesn't start saving you time until you've got past 10. But once you get past 10, it truly is time savings. Any last words of wisdom, whether you want to give it to, you're a leader, whether you want to provide leadership to your, prime lending team, or you want to provide leadership to the community, any closing advice before we wrap up this interview?
I'd recommend for everybody that's producing to use this. It solidifies the advice that we're giving. Simple and transparent. That's the great word you were using, David. It brings the borrowers into the decisioning process and shows them, exactly why we're doing what we're doing. Yeah,
I interviewed a top producer who does $190 million a year, killing it. And he started using Mortgage Coach this year. He said, 1, it was more competitive, and 2, I needed to win, improve my closing rate. And what I found, because I didn't expect it, like when I first started using it, I really used it because I was competing with big banks more, and I felt like it would be a competitive advantage, and I needed it this year. But he goes, after I did 10 or 20, it amplifies my voice. It's more of me. I'm getting time back. So I hope that comes through in this interview. Jason, I appreciate you as a mortgage coach who's out there doing the good work, helping families make confident decisions, and thank you for being a change agent, getting more mortgage coaches into our community. Super grateful, brother.
Fantastic. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks.